You built a Notion system, and it worked for you. You could find everything. You knew where things lived. You had a rhythm. And then you added a team, and it started falling apart. Not dramatically, but quietly. Questions started landing in your DMs that you thought were answered by the system. And at some point, you started wondering, do I need to start over? Do I need a new tool? And I was one of the first 50 certified Notion consultants worldwide. I worked with dozens of creative teams, and I've been inside both models as the builder, the solo creative, and the agency at scale. I've watched this exact moment happen more times than I can count. The solo system breaks the second someone else tries to live inside it. And you don't need to start over. You're not missing a template or a feature. There's one specific thing your system was never designed to have. And once you have it, you can't unsee it. A few months ago, I started working with a creative agency, 3 departments with a growing client list, and a Notion workspace that their systems person had spent years building. He built it meticulously, thoughtfully, in a way that made complete sense if you were that one person. And then that person went on paternity leave. And then the team was left with a workspace they didn't build. They didn't quite fully understand, and they couldn't maintain. And it wasn't because the system was bad. It was actually pretty good, but it was good for one person's brain. And now that brain was offline for 3 months. There's a concept in software development called the bus factor. It's considered a risk metric because how many people on your team would have to get hit by a bus before your project failed. Oh my God, that was so graphic. A bus factor of 1 means one person leaves and then the whole thing stops working. This agency had a bus factor of 1, and they didn't know it until the bus showed up. But this isn't a story about a person who let their team down. The structure itself was solid, and the skeleton existed. The nervous system didn't. The skeleton is your databases, your pages, your structure. The nervous system is what connects it all together. It's the layer that tells each person what their role is inside the workplace, what they own, and what they need to see. Because without it, you have a beautiful skeleton that only one person knows how to move. So if the system doesn't need to be rebuilt, what actually needs to change? So let's go below the surface and find out. Problem 1, growth becomes noise. Every new person, project, or client you add to your team means more assets, more files in Dropbox or Google Drive, more threads in Slack, more emails with attachments, and more pages in Notion that only the person who made them fully understands. And this team had 3 different departments, each with their own job databases, their own project tracking, their own ways of doing things. And none of it was connected. So when a project moved from one department to the next, it was going from production into post-production, someone had to manually carry the information. And usually that someone was a leader. What this problem looked like in practice was a team member opens Notion and can see all of the databases that exist on their team space. Every project across every department, every single client, every status update that had nothing to do with their actual work. And they had to wade through the team's workspace just to find their own stuff. This was a signal that you're not just growing, your work is getting louder. The information is there, but nobody has visibility. Nobody has altitude. Nobody has a clean view of just their piece. The second problem is the leader becomes the nervous system. When no one can find what they need, somebody steps in to fill that gap. And that someone is usually you. You become the person who knows where everything is. You answer the "where is this" question, then you have to copy the link, paste it over. You bridge the handoff between departments. You hold the invisible logic in your head, the thing that should be in the system but isn't quite, because the system was never designed to carry it. And this is the invisible tax. It doesn't show up on anyone particular's dashboard. It doesn't get tracked, but it costs you hours every week because those minutes add up. And it means you can't ever fully step back, because if you do, the connections disappear. And the whole time, the noise from problem 1 keeps growing, which means the tax from problem 2 gets heavier. The third problem, blame lands on people instead of the system. So here's where it gets hard. When the leader can't hold it all together anymore, and eventually they can't, the seams start to show. And when people can't see what other people are doing, they start filling the gaps with assumptions, where sales team assumes creative is dropping balls, the creative assumes sales is being chaotic and asking for too much, the project manager assumes everyone else is just behind, and nobody is entirely wrong. Nobody is wrong. They just can't see what other people are doing. So they make up this story about each other instead. Harvard Business and Bloomfire did a study on collaboration failures, and they found that 67% of them come from organizational silos. It's not a lack of effort, lack of skill, or bad people. Silos. These invisible walls between teams that the system could have dissolved, but they never did. And the people become the story. And this is what I mean when I say it's not chaos that kills creative teams. It's the quiet, compounding invisibility. Work that exists but hasn't been seen. So what does it actually look like when you design the nervous system? When I first got on a discovery call with this agency, they asked me, how can we make this more connected? What do we have to overhaul? And they were bracing for the full rebuild. They thought I was going to tell them to tear it down, destroy all the things, start fresh, and I didn't. Because the skeleton was there. The databases existed, the structure was real, it reflected their work. Because what they needed wasn't new bones or a new skeleton, they needed connections between the ones they already had. Linking projects to finances, linking the finances to staffing, and letting the production lead and the post-production lead each have their own job tracking databases, having those databases talk to each other. So a project could move through the life cycle without anyone having to carry it manually. Those pieces already existed. The connections are the ones that didn't. And what changed first was each person got their own view. Instead of every team member landing in a workspace that shows them everything, we built filtered views. You can open Notion and you see just your work, your responsibilities, the sources that you're accessing, your priorities, and the ones that you individually set, organized the way that you think. And one team member set hers up, figured it out, and immediately went to the rest of the team completely unprompted. She was telling them, you have to try this. And more people booked more time with me. And nobody told her that she had to adopt it. She actually wanted to use it. And she became the one championing it to everyone else, which was great. What changed next? The departments got connected. Not completely merged, just connected. Sales and creative can now see each other's status without living in each other's pages. The project moves through its life cycle from pitch to production to delivery, and everyone can follow it from their own individual views. The handoff is designed, not assumed. And the seams that used to generate blame now can create trust because the work is visible. When the progress is there, nobody has to guess what the other team is doing. Nobody has to chase anyone down for any information. And they don't have to do double work of doing the work and sharing it with each other. And so what changed last, and this is the one that I celebrated the most, was that the founder got altitude on what she was looking for. We connected their finances to their jobs and projects. Multiple funding sources visible in one place for the very first time. We've never had the ability to do that in the past. And this is huge because typically we don't see where it all comes from. And so for the first time, she could see the whole engine of her business. And it wasn't because she was holding it, because the system was holding it for her and everyone was contributing to it. Nobody on this team used the word calm in this whole experience, but you could hear it. The founder said, "I'd love to see you just run with it." A team member telling everyone else to try her setup. The accountant said, "It's giving us clarity on how much money we actually have." That's calm in accounting terms, I think. The project lead said, "Been working on my personal page with great success," and that's quiet confidence. 4 people with 4 different roles, 1 transformation that none of them named, but all of them felt and experienced. Here's why this matters right now. Creative teams are restructuring. Disney just laid off 1,000 people, including Marvel Studios. 87% of organizations are planning layoffs this year. Every transition is a moment where the connection layer either catches someone or drops them. And it's not just layoffs. The average organization is running 305 SaaS applications, where AI native software spending is up to 108% year over year. Every tool you add is another place where something can get siloed, another gap that the leader would have to manually bridge. And the teams building a connected central system right now aren't just solving a Notion problem. They're building the foundation their business needs to move through whatever comes next. And here's what I want you to take with you. You are not someone who needs to start over. You built something real. That foundation is there. What you are is a creative leader who already has the skeleton and just needs to design those connections. The nervous system that makes what you already built work for your whole team, not just for you. And that's not actually a rebuild. That's a design problem. And design problems have solutions. If you want help designing the nervous system for your specific setup, that's exactly what I do. The link is below. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I believe the connection layer is the answer, but I don't know exactly what it looks like for my team, that's the next question. And that's exactly what we're going to get into.